Most people spend thousands of dollars on wooden fences that rot, or vinyl panels that crack in the cold, or chain link that turns a yard into a cage. And all the while, nature has been quietly offering something better, something alive, something that grows thick, grows fast, and in many cases, grows food, medicine, and shelter all at once. But here's what no one tells you. The plants that make the finest living fences in the world, the ones that grow faster than bamboo, that block wind and noise and the eyes of neighbors, that survive drought and flood and neglect, most of them have been deliberately removed from the American gardening conversation. Not because they don't work, because they work too well. Because a living fence, once planted, never needs to be replaced. And that is not a business model anyone can sell you. Today, that changes. What you're about to see isn't a list of pretty shrubs from a nursery catalog. These are the plants that homesteaders relied on before the hardware store existed. The hedgerows that defined European farms for 1,000 years. The privacy screens that ancient Chinese and Persian gardeners engineered before the word landscaping was ever invented. And by the time we reach number 11 and 12 on this list, pay close attention. You will understand why two of these plants were once considered more valuable than the land they grew on. Stay with us. Every plant on this list is legal in the United States. Every one of them is overlooked. And every one of them will outlast every fence you've ever built. We begin with a plant that doesn't look like much at first. A slender stem, a modest leaf. But give it one growing season and stand back. Leland cypress, Cupressocipari leylandii, is the first plant on this list, and it earns that position through sheer, relentless speed. Born from a chance hybrid discovered in Wales in the 1880s on the Leighton Hall estate, this tree was never bred in a laboratory. It simply appeared, the way nature sometimes creates something perfect without being asked. It is the offspring of two trees that rarely grow together in the wild, the Monterey cypress and the Alaskan cedar, and in combining them, nature produced something neither parent could offer alone, a fast-growing, densely columnar evergreen that can add 3 to 4 feet of height in a single year under good conditions. Plant a row of Leland cypress 6 feet apart, and within 3 years, you have a wall. Not a suggestion of privacy. A wall. 12 feet, 15 feet, 20. It doesn't slow down. It doesn't lose its color in winter. It doesn't negotiate. In USDA zones 6 through 10, it is one of the most reliable privacy screens available to the American homeowner, thriving in almost any well-drained soil, asking for little more than full sun and the occasional watering during its first summer. Its dense, feathery foliage absorbs sound. It blocks wind. It holds its form without shearing if you allow it. Some dismiss it as too common. Those people do not understand what common means when something earns that status. Leland cypress became ubiquitous because it works quietly, year after year, for decades. Arborvitae, Thuja occidentalis, is one of the most underappreciated plants in North America, and that fact borders on a historical injustice. The name comes from the Latin for tree of life, a title bestowed by French explorers in the 1500s after indigenous peoples used its bark, needles, and inner wood to cure scurvy during a brutal Canadian winter. It saved lives. It was named accordingly, and then it was reduced to a hedge plant in suburban front yards, its ancient legacy forgotten beneath layers of mulch and routine trimming. This tree is patient. It can live for centuries. There are Arborvitae specimens in North America estimated to be over 1,000 years old. 1,000 years. It has watched empires rise and dissolve from the same hillside. When you plant an Arborvitae hedge, you are not installing a privacy screen. You are making a commitment to the land. For practical purposes, the emerald green cultivar is the gold standard for living fences narrow, upright, and growing 3 to 4 feet per year in its youth. It tolerates wet soil better than almost any conifer. It resists deer with more success than most. Plant it in full sun to partial shade. Water it through its first season, and then step away. It will do the rest. It will be doing the rest long after you are gone. Rugosa rose. Rosa rugosa arrived in the United States from the coastlines of Eastern Asia and became one of the most indestructible plants ever introduced to American soil. The blooms are extraordinarily fragrant, wide, appearing in waves from early summer through fall, in shades of deep pink and white that look like they were painted by someone who had never seen an ugly thing in their life. But the blooms are not the point. The hips are the point. Rose hips, the swollen red fruit that follows the flower, contain more vitamin C per gram than oranges. In Scandinavia, they were harvested through both world wars to supplement the nutrition of civilian populations under rationing. In Britain, the government organized children into brigades to collect wild rose hips. The knowledge of this fruit, this living pharmacy hanging from a thorned hedge, was not forgotten by accident. It was simply never passed down. Rugosa rose builds a fence that no person, no animal, and no unwanted intrusion will cross willingly. The thorns are architectural in their commitment. The canes grow dense and layered, 4 to 6 feet tall, spreading steadily into an impenetrable wall. It tolerates salt air, sandy soil, clay soil, cold down to zone 2, heat, and neglect with equal indifference. Plant it once, feed it nothing. It will be there next year, and the year after, and the year after that, covered in blooms and swollen with fruit. That is not a shrub. That is a living wall that feeds you. And speaking of feeding you, stay with this list, because what's coming in the next several plants will challenge everything you thought you knew about the boundary between fence and food forest. But first, let us talk about a plant that moved civilizations. Hawthorne, Crataegus monogyna, is the backbone of the British hedgerow tradition, and that tradition is one of the most successful examples of sustainable land management in human history. For over 1,000 years, British farmers planted hawthorn along field boundaries, creating living fences that protected livestock, prevented erosion, sheltered wildlife, and produced food simultaneously. At its peak, Britain had over 500,000 miles of hawthorn hedgerow. The word hedge itself is etymologically inseparable from the hawthorn's cultural history. Then came agricultural industrialization. The hedgerows were ripped out, hundreds of thousands of miles of them, in a matter of decades, and with them went the birds, the insects, the soil health, the microclimate stability that those hedges had maintained. Scientists are still documenting the ecological damage of that decision. In America, hawthorn never received the respect it deserved, which means you have an opportunity that most people have already missed. Crataegus species grow in almost every climate zone across the country. They are thorned, genuinely, seriously thorned, making them a physical barrier nothing tests twice. They flower in spring with a fragrance that is among the most complex in the plant kingdom. And in autumn, they produce berries that have been used in cardiovascular medicine for centuries, shown in modern clinical studies to support heart health in ways that have surprised researchers who expected an old folk remedy and found something more. Plant hawthorn where you need something permanent, something historical, something that does more work than it advertises. It grows moderately fast, 2 to 3 feet per year, and can be trained into a formal hedge or left to grow naturally into an arching 8-foot wall of thorns and bloom. Either way, it will outlast every structure on your property. Forsythia. Forsythia ex intermedia is not a forgotten plant. You have seen it. The explosion of yellow flowers in early spring, before any other shrub dares to bloom, on arching canes that build a dense thicket year by year. What is forgotten is its capacity as a fence plant, because most people prune it into a ball and strip away the very growth habits that make it remarkable. Left to its natural architecture, allowed to arch, to layer, to send up new canes from the base each season, Forsythia becomes a 6-foot waterfall of wood and foliage that nothing passes through easily. It leaves out quickly in spring, remains dense through summer and fall, and in zones 4 through 8, it is virtually indestructible. Stem cuttings root so effortlessly that you can propagate an entire fence line from a single parent plant at zero cost. In Korea and China, where Forsythia originates, it has been used medicinally for over 2,000 years. The dried fruit appears in traditional formulas for treating infection and inflammation, and modern research has identified compounds within it that exhibit genuine antimicrobial properties. We are now approaching the middle of this list, And it is time to talk about something that goes beyond the fence line, something that creates an entirely different relationship between your land and your life. Elderberry. Sambucus nigra is perhaps the most productive plant you can grow along a boundary. It is fast, genuinely fast, adding 6 to 12 feet of height in its first 2 years under good conditions. It is wide, it is dense, and it produces, in midsummer, clusters of dark purple berries that have been studied extensively by immunologists, herbalists, and epidemiologists alike, with findings consistent enough across cultures and centuries that dismissing them requires real effort. Elderberry syrup, elderberry tincture, elderberry wine. These are not novelties. They are continuations of a medical tradition, so old it predates written European history. The Celts considered the elder tree sacred. Hippocrates called it his medicine chest. In the American South, it grew wild along fence lines and creek banks, and every family who lived close to the land knew what to do with it. That knowledge eroded. The plant remained. Grow elderberry as a hedge by planting multiple shrubs 4 feet apart and allowing them to sucker and spread. They will knit together into a privacy screen within 3 years. They will fruit abundantly. They will attract pollinators in quantities that will improve every garden within 100 yards. And, in autumn, the foliage turns a quiet, burnished gold that requires no commentary.